Imagine the intense pressures of armed conflict, where critical decisions must be made in an instant, sometimes with profound consequences. Every action taken, every target identified, carries immense legal and ethical weight. How do military forces ensure they are striking only legitimate objectives, especially when the line between military and civilian can seem blurry? Determining an object's nature for targeting, under international humanitarian law, means assessing if it qualifies as a military objective. This core principle dictates that attacks must be limited strictly to military objectives, and civilian objects must not be attacked. It is fundamental to protecting civilians and limiting the destruction caused by armed conflict. The why behind this careful assessment is the fundamental principle of distinction, which is a cornerstone of international humanitarian law. This principle requires parties to a conflict to distinguish at all times between combatants and civilians, and between military objectives and civilian objects. An object is considered a military objective if, by its nature, location, purpose, or use, it makes an effective contribution to military action, and its total or partial destruction, capture, or neutralization, in the circumstances ruling at the time, offers a definite military advantage. Focusing on nature means evaluating the inherent characteristics of an object that make it military in character, such as a tank, a warship, or a military headquarters. Therefore, the how-to involves carefully gathering and evaluating available intelligence to verify an object's inherent military characteristics. Commanders must take all feasible precautions in attack to ensure that targets are indeed military objectives and to avoid or at least minimize civilian harm. This continuous assessment is crucial, as the nature of an object can sometimes change during the course of a conflict. An interesting detail here is the concept of dual-use objects. These are objects that can serve both military and civilian purposes, such as a bridge or a power plant. In such cases, it is not merely the object's inherent nature that is decisive, but its current use or purpose that takes precedence. For example, if a bridge is actively being used to transport military convoys, it then contributes effectively to military action and can become a legitimate military objective. However, if it is only being used by civilians, it retains its civilian object protection. This demands constant vigilance and dynamic evaluation of intelligence, emphasizing that the context and circumstances at the time of attack are paramount. Ultimately, understanding how to determine an object's nature for targeting provides clarity for military planners and commanders, enabling them to uphold their obligations under international humanitarian law. This precise application of the principle of distinction helps to safeguard civilians and civilian infrastructure, ensuring that the conduct of hostilities remains within legal and ethical bounds, even in the most challenging environments.